In a panic, they frantically shone their torches all over the place. Then came another scream. Less than 100 yards away, Alex was being dragged through the sand by a dingo. Fraser Island is situated just north of Brisbane on the east coast of Australia. The sandy island stretches for more than 120 kilometers and is a World Heritage Site. It is unique in that the rainforest at its center is the only rainforest in the world known to have grown from sand. It's an incredible place to visit. It's home to wallabies, possums, and the sugar glider. There are hundreds of different bird species, and astonishingly, dolphins, dugongs, turtles, and whales frequent the turquoise waters. Fraser Island is also home to Australia's top predator, the dingo. Originally from Asia, dingoes were introduced to Australia about 5,000 years ago and have developed to become Australia's main predator. The isolated population on Fraser Island is thought to be the purest of dingoes in Australia. Those on the mainland interbreed with domestic dogs, and few are thought to be pure dingo. They typically hunt alone and mostly eat mammals such as rabbits and red kangaroos. They are opportunistic hunters and scavengers. Usually, they track their prey and attack it from behind. When hunting as a pack, dingoes surround their prey and chase it until it becomes fatigued. They have excellent hearing and an acute sense of smell. Interestingly, dingoes have very flexible joints. They can rotate their wrist joint and are even able to twist doorknobs to open doors. This flexibility gives them the ability to climb trees, cliffs, and rocks, as they prefer high vantage points. Dingoes have always lived alongside people. For thousands of years, Aborigines have fed dingoes with no conflict or fear. Now, however, tourists are enticing dingoes with food in order to get close-up photos. This has resulted in a change in dingo behavior. Between 1996 and 2001, there were over 250 attacks involving dingoes. They are no longer wary of humans. They are bold and brazen, and just like so many pest species, they have become aggressive, sometimes with tragic consequences. Day of the attack, April 14th, 2021. Dom and his wife Sarah had been planning to take their two young boys, Alex, 7, and Joe, 5, on a camping trip for some time. Their destination was Fraser Island. They hired a 4x4 and 2 tents from Hervey Bay before getting the ferry to the island. The family had visited before. It was one of their favorite places to spend a few days, driving along the golden sands, exploring the rainforest, and swimming in one of the many lakes. The family always had an adventure there. Little did they know that this trip was going to be an adventure like no other. The island is popular with tourists and locals alike. People are free to self-drive or take an organized tour. Although there are accommodation options, many choose to camp in one of the designated areas. Some of these campsites are remote and often deserted. The spectacular sandy beaches give way to lush green rainforest. Over 40 lakes are dotted about the island, offering freshwater swimming. There is plenty to do for any outdoor enthusiast. Fishing, hiking, swimming, wildlife spotting, and camping. Having had an action-packed day, the family headed to one of the many camping areas in the early evening. Dom and Sarah pitched the 2 tents, whilst Alex and Joe kicked a ball around on the beach. When Sarah went to collect the boys for dinner around the campfire, she spotted a dingo trotting along the beach towards them. She called the boys over, and they all watched as the dingo silently scampered past them, barely glancing up to acknowledge their presence. Alex was excited to have seen the dingo so close. They were his favorite animal, and he was always talking about them. Dom and Sarah had warned him that dingoes can be dangerous, but the 7-year-old was still as keen as ever to get up close to one. That evening, as they sat around the campfire, the dingo returned. Cautious at first, it sniffed the air, and then tentatively, it inched closer to the family. Dom and Sarah both clapped their hands to shoo it away. It disappeared momentarily, but returned once more. Alex shrieked with delight and threw the dingo some of his chicken. The dog lapped it up and looked up for more. Its opportunistic and scavenging behavior kicked in. Dom and Sarah shooed it away once again and cleared up their plates. It was getting dark, and it was time for bed. Dom decided to share a tent with Joe, and Sarah shared with Alex. When the boys had snuggled down in their sleeping bags, Dom and Sarah tidied up outside, making sure to lock away any food in their vehicle. They had passed many warning signs for dingoes, and it was well known that you should not have any food in your tent whilst camping on Fraser Island. After extinguishing the fire, Sarah climbed into the tent with Alex, and Dom climbed in with Joe. Unbeknownst to Sarah, Alex had snuck a piece of his chicken into his tent. He wanted to entice his favorite animal closer. Once his mother was asleep, he quietly unzipped the tent door and threw the chicken scraps on the ground outside. He was hoping to see the dingo again that night. His wish was about to come true. At around midnight, Sarah and Dom awoke to the screams of their 7-year-old son. Sarah fumbled around in the dark for her torch. She flicked it on. Alex was nowhere to be seen. She screamed for Dom to come and raced outside the tent. In a panic, they frantically shone their torches all over the place. Then came another scream. Less than 100 yards away, Alex was being dragged through the sand by a dingo. Dom and Sarah ran to him. Dom kicked the dingo, but it continued to maul the boy. Dingoes are known for using the bite and shake method of killing their prey. The dingo held Alex's leg tightly in its grip, shaking him like a rag doll. Dom kicked it once more, and it dropped Alex's leg, allowing just enough time for Sarah to pick Alex up. He was bleeding heavily. The dingo fled. The family jumped in their 4x4 and sped through the night. It was a race against time. They made their way to the ambulance station on the east coast of the island. It was an agonizing 40-minute drive away, through soft sand, rising tides, and at the peak of darkness. Luckily, when they arrived at the station, a paramedic was on site, and Alex was treated immediately. His injuries were so severe, however, that he was transferred to a hospital on the mainland. Following months of surgery and hospital appointments, Alex went on to make a full recovery. He is, however, no longer the dingo's biggest fan. How to be dingo safe. Generally, dingoes go about their lives and stay away from people. From time to time, dingoes may come close, and some encounters can turn to tragedy. Follow these rules when you feel threatened by a dingo. Number 1. Stand at your full height and fold your arms across your chest. Number 2. Face the dingo, then calmly back away. Number 3. If you're with another person, stand back to back. Number 4. Confidently call for help. Number 5. Wait until the dingo or dingoes are gone before you continue on your way. Number 6. Do not run or wave your arms. And please have respect for these beautiful creatures.